Some EV enthusiasts were disappointed when Nissan unveiled the new Leaf without a battery pack, enabling a range of over 200 miles like the new EVs coming to market this year. But what Nissan did is manage to still increase the range of the Leaf while maintaining a relatively low price, especially compared to those same new EVs coming to market. And now they wanted to show us how it can still be a good daily driver and road trip vehicle by inviting Electrek to experience the new Leaf in Southern California this week. As Electrek previously reported, the new Nissan Leaf 2018 got an official EPA rating of 151 miles and 112 mpg. First off, with that kind of range, it's almost impossible to run out of charge in a city like Los Angeles. You really need to be trying to or paying little to no attention to your remaining battery capacity, something you still have to do in an internal combustion engine vehicle with your gas tank. There are simply too many charging options. Between all the different networks, there are thousands of chargers at hundreds of locations. On the first day, Electrek drove from Santa Monica to Culver City and back in the morning. In the afternoon, they drove from Santa Monica to the Hollywood Hills. Regardless of the traffic or the kind of driving that Electrek did, they had no issue getting to each location without charging, and once at the destination, there were always charging options nearby. Speaking of traffic, it can get pretty intense in Los Angeles, which gave they an opportunity to try 2 new features of the 2018 Nissan Leaf that can be quite helpful in heavy traffic. They are talking about ProPilot and ePedal. ProPilot is a package that includes several active safety features like collision warning and lane keeping alert, but it also improves on cruise control features by adapting with the speed of traffic and automatic steering. Fred Lambert wrote on Electrek that he was fairly impressed by the overall system, but especially by the adaptive cruise control, which proved really useful in stop-and-go traffic, though it needs to be activated at speed. He quickly became confident in its ability to slow down or stop when having a lead vehicle in traffic, but you still have to pay attention and be ready to take control. As for the auto steering, it actually kept the car in the lane and he never felt in danger with it activated, but it would often start ping-ponging between lines, which made it not as useful as adaptive cruise control. You have to always keep some light pressure on the wheel, otherwise you get an alert to keep your hands on it every 5 seconds or so. He found that the best way to use ProPilot is to activate it with the auto steering disabled, which can be done in the settings or by leaving it enabled and using the shortcut on-off button on the panel at the left of the steering wheel. The other feature that can be useful in traffic and elsewhere is the ePedal feature, which is unrelated to ProPilot. It's simply a more powerful regenerative braking system that includes additional braking to reach a full stop, meaning that you can technically only use the accelerator and drive with only one pedal when the ePedal mode is activated. The next day, Electrek got to experience the car on a longer drive by going up the coast to Santa Barbara on a 93-mile trip. With a 150 miles of EPA-rated range and a 96% charge, Fred Lambert wasn't too nervous about making the trip, so he didn't use ECO mode and decided to push the car hard and have a fun drive along the beautiful Californian coast. They arrived at the hotel in Santa Barbara with 12% of the battery capacity left. Fred Lambert used ePedal without ECO mode, and I was never worried about the range despite his somewhat aggressive driving. The hotel had level 2 chargers to charge the vehicle overnight. On our way back, they were able to do it way more efficiently on ECO mode and some more reasonable driving, reaching close to the EPA rating. In conclusion, while the 2018 Nissan Leaf doesn't feature the kind of range that came out in other EVs like the Chevy Bolt EV and the Tesla Model 3 over the last year, it still has a significant useful range in the right conditions, and at about $5,000 cheaper before incentives, it might be something to think about. The vehicle is just now starting to get to dealerships in higher volumes. You can check with your local Nissan dealer for Leaf inventory.
The new Subaru Forester will come with facial recognition for security and personalization. The technology that will also detect fatigue and driver distraction via a tiny infrared camera in the dash. The Subaru can distinguish who is behind the wheel and then automatically adjust the seat, side mirrors and air conditioning according to the preset preferences of up to 5 drivers. If the car senses a crash is imminent, after checking with 2 other forward-facing cameras that constantly scan the road ahead, it will sound a warning beep to gain the attention of the driver. The technology will be available on the latest Subaru Forester family SUV due in showrooms in September, priced from about $30,000. Subaru says the camera can even see through most sunglasses and prescription glasses. It is the first time facial recognition technology will be available in an affordable car. Lexus has had facial recognition in its GS hybrid sedan since 2012, but it is only designed to detect fatigue. Other brands such as Volkswagen and Mercedes use sensitive steering wheel sensors to detect if the driver is getting drowsy.
An email allegedly sent by Elon Musk to Tesla staff has announced that the Model 3, which has faced a number of production issues, will go into 24/7 production by June, resulting in 6,000 Model 3 units made per week. The email was obtained by Jalopnik, and also includes Musk's thoughts on a number of other topics including the company's financials, manufacturing tolerances, and even how excessive meetings are the blight of big companies. Here are the full email. Progress. First, congratulations are in order. We have now completed our 3rd full week of producing over 2,000 Model 3 vehicles. The first week was 2020, the second was 2070, and we just completed 2250 last week, along with 2,000 Model S/X vehicles. This is more than double Tesla's weekly production rate last year and an amazing feat in the face of many challenges. It is extremely rare for an automotive company to grow the production rate by over 100% from one year to the next. Moreover, there has simultaneously been a significant improvement in quality and build accuracy, which is reflected in positive owner feedback. Starting today at Giga and tomorrow at Fremont, we will be stopping for 3 to 5 days to do a comprehensive set of upgrades. This should set us up for Model 3 production of 3,000 to 4,000 per week next month. Another set of upgrades starting in late May should be enough to unlock production capacity of 6,000 Model 3 vehicles per week by the end of June. Please note that all areas of Tesla and their suppliers will be required to demonstrate a Model 3 capacity of 6,000/week by building 850 sets of car parts in 24 hours no later than June 30th. Any Tesla department or supplier that is unable to do this will need to have a very good explanation why not, along with a plan for fixing the problem, and present that to me directly. If anyone needs help achieving this, please let me know as soon as possible. We are going to find a way or make a way to get there. The reason that the burst build target rate is 6,000 and not 5,000 per week in June is that we cannot have a number with no margin for error across thousands of internally and externally produced parts and processes, amplified by a complex global logistics chain. Actual production will move as fast as the least lucky and least well-executed part of the entire Tesla production supply chain system. By having a Model 3 subsystem burst build requirement of 6K by the end of June, we will lay the groundwork for achieving a steady 6K week across the whole Model 3 system a few months later. As part of the drive towards 6K, all Model 3 production at Fremont will move to 24/7 operations. This means that we will be adding another shift to general assembly, body and paint. Please refer anyone you know who you think meets the Tesla bar for talent, drive and trust. Between Fremont and Giga, Tesla will be adding about 400 people per week for several weeks. Precision. Most of the design tolerances of the Model 3 are already better than any other car in the world. Soon, they will all be better. This is not enough. We will keep going until the Model 3 build precision is a factor of 10 better than any other car in the world. I am not kidding. Our car needs to be designed and built with such accuracy and precision that, if an owner measures dimensions, panel gaps and flushness, and their measurements don't match the Model 3 specs, it just means that their measuring tape is wrong. Some parts suppliers will be unwilling or unable to achieve this level of precision. I understand that this will be considered an unreasonable request by some. That's okay, there are lots of other car companies with much lower standards. They just can't work with Tesla. Profit. A fair criticism leveled at Tesla by outside critics is that you're not a real company unless you generate a profit, meaning simply that revenue exceeds costs. It didn't make sense to do that until reaching economies of scale, but now we are there. Going forward, we will be far more rigorous about expenditures. I have asked the Tesla finance team to comb through every expense worldwide, no matter how small, and cut everything that doesn't have a strong value justification. All capital or other expenditures above $1 million, or where a set of related expenses may accumulate to $1 million over the next 12 months, should be considered on hold until explicitly approved by me. If you are the manager responsible, please make sure you have a detailed, first principles understanding of the supplier quote, including every line item of parts and labor, before we meet. I have been disappointed to discover how many contractor companies are interwoven throughout Tesla. Often, it is like a Russian nesting doll of contractor, subcontractor, sub-subcontractor, etc. before you finally find someone doing actual work. This means a lot of middle managers adding cost but not doing anything obviously useful. Also, many contracts are essentially open time and materials, not fixed price and duration, which creates an incentive to turn molehills into mountains, as they never want to end the money train. There is a very wide range of contractor performance, from excellent to worse than a drunken sloth. All contracting companies should consider the coming week to be a final opportunity to demonstrate excellence. Any that fail to meet the Tesla standard of excellence will have their contracts ended on Monday. BTW, here are a few productivity recommendations. Excessive meetings are the blight of big companies and almost always get worse over time. Please get rid of all large meetings, unless you're certain they are providing value to the whole audience, in which case keep them very short. Also get rid of frequent meetings, unless you're dealing with an extremely urgent matter. Meeting frequency should drop rapidly once the urgent matter is resolved. Walk out of a meeting or drop off a call as soon as it is obvious you aren't adding value. It is not rude to leave, it is rude to make someone stay and waste their time. Don't use acronyms or nonsense words for objects, software or processes at Tesla. In general, anything that requires an explanation inhibits communication. We don't want people to have to memorize a glossary just to function at Tesla. Communication should travel via the shortest path necessary to get the job done, not through the chain of command. Any manager who attempts to enforce chain of command communication will soon find themselves working elsewhere. A major source of issues is poor communication between devs. The way to solve this is allow free flow of information between all levels. If, in order to get something done between devs, an individual contributor has to talk to their manager, who talks to a director, who talks to a VP, who talks to another VP, who talks to a director, who talks to a manager, who talks to someone doing the actual work, then super dumb things will happen. It must be okay for people to talk directly and just make the right thing happen. In general, always pick common sense as your guide. If following a company rule is obviously ridiculous in a particular situation, such that it would make for a great Dilbert cartoon, then the rule should change. If there is something you think should be done to make Tesla execute better or allow you to look forward to coming to work more, same thing in the long term, please send a note to mdesk@tesla.com. Thanks for being such a kick-ass team and accomplishing miracles every day. It matters. We're burning the midnight oil to burn the midnight oil. Elon.